Hare Krishna. So, we will begin the discussion on the 16th chapter today. This chapter is entitled you can keep it here. The divine and the demoniac nature. In the 15th chapter, it was discussed that the nature of this world is like an inverted banyan tree. The root is up, which is the spiritual world, and this whole creation is, with a different planetary system, was compared to the branches, sub-branches, the twigs and the leaves. And if you remember, it said the whole tree was nourished by, anyone remembers what? Yeah, the three modes of nature. Guna pravruddhaha, vishaya pravalaha. Guna pravruddhaha. Just as a tree is nourished by the water, this particular tree of material creation is nourished by the three modes of nature. In that, the good mode of goodness helps people to go up. It brings about qualities which help us to go up on the ladder, while the mode of passion and ignorance drags one down. The qualities born of the modes of passion. Kamayesha, Krodhayesha, Rajoguna Samudbhavaha. The typical 6 enemies that are discussed as Shadripu. So we may have heard it so many times. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada and Matsarya. Lust, anger, greed, envy, pride and illusion. They are called enemies. Why are they called enemies? Because they provoke certain thoughts and certain actions thereof which are not beneficial to our spiritual growth, which is the purpose of human life. In fact, they drag us down to a lower state of consciousness. Therefore, this is considered non-beneficial. Therefore, we should carefully avoid the mode of passion and ignorance and cultivate the mode of goodness. The mode of goodness elevates, urdhvam gacchanti sattvastha, while the mode of passion and ignorance pulls us down, degrades us in terms of consciousness. So therefore, those who are trying to cultivate the divine quality or the mode of goodness are considered divine or Daivi Prakriti, while those who fall prey to these lower modes of passion and ignorance, which drags us down, are considered the weaknesses of the human being. That is considered as Asuric. Now, Asuric doesn't mean having a horns on the head, teeth protruding out, man-eating cannibals. That's the conception generally it gives. No. A person having a divine quality can have children who are demoniac. Or demoniac people can have children who are very divine. Like Hiranyakashipu had amazing son like Prahlad, totally opposite in nature. And Maharaj Anga had a son Vena, who was totally, extremely creating nuisance in the whole society. So, this chapter defines those qualities which elevate us, they are the divine, and those qualities that pulls us down, they are the demoniac. That is why this chapter is further elaboration of that 15 chapters tree. There are some branches which take you up, some branches which take you down, and those branches are discussed. The 16th chapter has 24 verses, and the acronym for us to remember, very easy, is DOG, D-O-G. The 12th chapter was God, G-O-D, while the 16th chapter, the acronym is D-O-G. The first 6 verses, divine or demoniac, both are described. Text 7 to 20 describes the outlook and the opinion of the demoniac. Basically, this describes a great detail about the demoniac nature, asuric nature, their mindset, their thought process, their perspective to the world, their actions, their words, their beliefs, all these are described. And from 21 to 24 is G, which stands for gateway to hell. There are 3 express highway to hell. You have Bombay Pune express highway. One advantage of express highway is you can close your eyes and go full speed. Of course, don't close your eyes, otherwise you'll end up in problem. The only problem is if the tire bursts because of too much speed. Otherwise, there is no problem of accident because it's one way. So, royal road to hell, the gateway to hell is described in the last 4 verses, and how to overcome them. That is also very beautifully described. So this is the description. So now, that's why it begins. Why it is called D-O-G, dog? The dog is an unpredictable animal. Though widely acclaimed as man's best friend, the dog also has a reputation for brutal, unprovoked attacks. How many of you have been bitten by a dog here? 1, 2, 3, 4. You also? No. 3 people. The one lady in Kolhapur. She was coming and suddenly, for no reason, unprovoked. It's not that she did something or something. He just jumped and bit her very badly. Almost like a part of skin came off. She had to take some injections and all that. So sometimes they are, even though they are told to be man's best friend, it has a reputation for brutal, unprovoked attack. For no reason. They may do it. Such contradictory behavior is a sign of our times. Somebody is the best of friend and suddenly becomes the worst of enemy at the drop of a hat. In previous ages, the distinction between divine and demoniac people was very clear. They lived at a distance from each other and rarely mixed. In fact, in previous ages, they would live on different planets in Satyuga. The divine would live in the heavenly planets and the demoniac in the lower planetary systems. In the Treta Yuga, they lived on the same planet but different continents or lands. In the Dwapar Yuga, they lived in the same family. Mama was demon and the Bhanja was such a wonderful, he is the Supreme Lord himself. But in Kali Yuga, both qualities reside in the same individual. So, the dividing line has disappeared to the extent that the divine and demoniac coexist within the same individual. One voice says, no, this is wrong. This thought process, this word that you spoke, this action that you did is not becoming of you. This is inappropriate. Shouldn't do it. It's not right. Another says, the whole world is doing it. Come on. Even if they don't do it, justify. Why shouldn't I? So therefore there are two voices. Bhakti Tirth Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada's very, very close disciple, who is no more now, compared it to the good dog and the bad dog within the same individual. There is a good dog and there is a bad dog. In America, dogs are more closer to people than even the family members. Therefore, there is a pet shop. There are pet shops where every item connected with pets are available. Anything. Much more facility than any regular shops. So the good dog and the bad dog both reside in the same heart. The bad is barking loudly, and the good is also trying to bark, but its voice is very soft. Whichever you feed, that becomes stronger. Whichever voice of whichever dog you hear and respond to, you are feeding that dog. And whichever dog is fed, that becomes stronger. The other becomes weaker. And we have a choice at every moment which kind of a dog to feed. These thoughts, both the thought process are coming simultaneously in our heart. Dual. Do it, don't do it. It's good, it's bad. Chalo, do it. So, in chapter 16, Krishna describes the qualities of saintly persons and the weaknesses of the demoniac, systematically exposing attitudes and behaviors that destroy one's spirituality. The demoniac qualities destroy one's natural spiritual inclinations, which may be dormant. Rather than awakening, we completely stub it and squelch it. So this is the breakup of the 24 verses. The first 6, divine or demoniac. The next few verses, 7 to 20, is opinions and outlook of demons. And the third is the gateway to hell. And of course, how to avoid that gate. That is described in 21 to 24. Okay, now we will discuss 1 to 6 today. On the tree of the material world that we discussed in the 15th chapter, divine qualities are said to elevate us, whereas demoniac qualities result in degradation. These are the result of nature and nurture. Please understand, there are two things: nature and nurture. While we undoubtedly carry impressions from previous lives, our willpower, determination, and activities in this life can significantly alter that nature. Krishna describes 26 divine qualities and the 6 major demoniac qualities in this section. What is nature and nurture? I did my master's in speech and hearing science from Mysore University. And in the master's degree, we had developmental psychology. One of the subjects that we had was developmental psychology. And the question is our children born? Is everything inbuilt and just manifests? Or are children born with a blank slate and whatever you write, that is what happens? This is the two schools of thought. One school of thought says the child is already pre-programmed even before the birth. What he will be, how he will behave, what will be his nature, everything is predetermined. It just manifests as time passes. While the other school of thought says, no, child is born like a blank slate. Whatever you put, that's what comes out. What is your take on this? How many of you believe, okay, let's take a vote, because this is a democratic country and we should give each one's opinion some respect and weightage. How many of you, true to your heart, feel everything is already, software is already installed even before the child is born? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 2 children are also raising. Half and half, that is 1. Half ticket, 2 half ticket is 1 ticket. 16. Okay, 16 people feel strongly everything is predetermined. How many of you swear by the heart, blank slate hai, jo likhenge wahi hone wala hai? 1, 2, 3 and a half. Are you not sure? 4, 5. 5. Okay, 5. Predetermined wins. This is not predetermined that I am going to take a vote and. Okay, I'll give you the example. Both of them give their own examples. That, for example, how come human children learn to talk while other chimpanzees and others don't have? You may teach a chimpanzee how much ever you want, they can't, because they are born with a language ability. They're born with an ability, and therefore you just have to facilitate and they start. Like walking skill. Walking skill is already there. You make a chimp walk, it will walk, but it will just walk in its 4. With its 4. It doesn't walk like that. You already born with it. This is the argument of the natural theory. Nature, that means already is there in the nature. They want to prove it like this. And those who say everything is a blank slate and nurture, they give an example of how one child was born and left in the jungle. This is a true story. A child was born in the west somewhere and was thrown by the parents in the jungle, left in the jungle. They didn't want whatever. They didn't want to probably kill the child. They left it in the jungle. And this child was raised by the wolves. The wolves did not eat them. They just raised them somehow. Like Shakuntala. Dushanta's wife, Shakuntala, was raised by Shakunta Pakshi. Therefore, Kanva Rishi gave her the name Shakuntala. Similarly, the wolves raised, and this boy was found after 13 years. After 13 years, he was found. He had no language. So they say, if he already has a language, then isko aaya kyun nahi? Dekho, 13 saal tha. Because he was raised amongst wolves, nobody taught him. Therefore, he didn't learn. What is the understanding? The understanding is both are true. Partly nature and partly nurture. I'll give you one example how both are true. Let's take an apple seed. If you put an apple seed inside the ground and put all kinds of nourishment which you put for chiku tree, will chiku grow from that apple tree? No, if it's an apple seed, apple will grow. Which means within the seed is the full software of an apple tree. Within the seed is the tree. Whatever is the seed, that kind of fruit will grow from that. Even you may put the same thing that you put for a chiku seed, the same kind of nourishment and fertilizers, water. Everyone puts the same kind of, soil is the same, fertilizer is the same, water is the same, sunlight is the same, air is the same. But whichever seed we sow, that kind of a fruit we get. But how many of you have seen a bonsai plant? Right? Everyone has seen? You know how they make a bonsai? How many have not seen a bonsai plant? Or don't know what is bonsai? Okay, this is a Japanese term, B-O-N-S-A-I, bonsai. How they make a bonsai is nothing but, it's like, like in circus they have these Lilliputs, like small people, dwarfs. When trees become like dwarfs, full grown tree, but dwarfs, that's called a bonsai plant. And you know how they make a bonsai plant? You can make any plant into a bonsai plant. You put the seed in a box, in a plastic, take a plastic bucket or a small box, tin box, put soil in it and put the tree, put the plant, even of a banyan tree. You put it there. When it is small, put it there. And make small holes in the at the bottom of the box. And as soon as the roots come out from those holes, keep cutting them off. Keep cutting them. Keep cutting them. Keep cutting them. The tree grows, and within 2 feet, they start branching. Fruits also come. Fruits and flowers are of the same size as the original tree. But the tree remains only 1 feet, 2 feet. Full grown tree, full-fledged tree. It's like a dwarf, full feature of an elderly person, but size is small. This is a proof. If you keep on chastising, yes, physically the children may grow. We have seen malnourished children from Africa or some slums, just not given right kind of food, right kind of stimulation at appropriate time. Everything has a critical time. Eye to develop has a critical time. Brain to develop has a critical time. Everything has a critical time. Before that, powerful growth, but after that it is very stunted. So sometimes physically they may grow, but if you emotionally keep mistreating them, abusing them, emotionally they are stunted. They act like children sometimes. They don't, even though they are matured, grown up individuals, if they are emotionally abused, they become like children. They break down very early. Even a small stress, they feel like committing suicide. I don't want to live. I don't want to do this. They can't handle emotions. Intellectually, if proper stimulation is not given, their intellectual growth is very limited. After a particular age, any amount of thing you do, no point. Brainstem growth, cerebellum and the cerebral cortex. All these are there. So yes, both are important. Similarly, even children. Sometimes, why they say the lineage, earlier it was like that, because a particular, even in plants you can see. Today, nowadays, chemically grown, BT, what do you call it, biologically hybrid, BT kind of thing. Now they are taken over. Unless you put chemicals, they don't grow. We are completely dependent on the companies for the seeds, because these BT kind of trees don't even give seeds. You have to ask them for the seed, you have to ask them for the chemicals. So much you are completely dependent on them. It's like completely keeping your life in their hands. Now people are realizing, now they are trying to grow the seeds. Now they are trying to grow their own seeds. The farmers in India now starting organic seeds. Now in our Vada farm, we have got this. And what they did was, they took that seed, original seed, natural seed, put it in the ground, cultivated, and some of the lauki, call it, what do you call it? Dudi, what do you call it in English? Gourd. Water gourd. Okay. Bottle gourd. Yeah, okay. Yeah, bottle gourd, yeah. So, they took some and kept it for drying to make seeds out of that. Some they use for eating, some they use for keeping seed. Put that again in the ground. Put that again in the ground. Believe it or not, if you don't believe me, you go and see in Vada today. Today, that bottle gourd grows to my size. One of them is 20 kilos. 20 kilos. I have taken photograph. My sister-in-law, my brother, they went. They were shocked. She was holding like this. And they took a photograph. Grains this big. Huge. We can't even imagine. Why? Because few generations, they did not put chemical fertilizers. They put only manure, which is cow dung manure, put it in the ground, cultivated those trees. Now they don't have to go anywhere else for begging for their seeds and the chemical fertilizers. That's self-sufficient. And one of them is enough to last for a few days, especially family of only 4 or 5. I've seen it personally. This is what was there, why people were, sometimes they see, and I have also, as a speech and hearing specialist, I can tell you, when marriage happens very close between siblings, there is more chance of a handicapped child being born. It is called consanguineous marriage. That means brother's daughter is married to sister's son, whatever like that. Same family. That's why if you see in Parsis, because it's a small group and they keep on marrying amongst themselves. There was a joke, I don't know, and I don't mean any offense. 90% of them are very crazy and 10% of them are super genius. Parsis are like that. The point is, same kind of thing. So nature does work. A person is born. There are so many geniuses born. Some have musical talents. Born musical. Shakuntala Devi was very famous during our time. She was like a genius mathematician. There are some people who are like fantastic singers. They're coming in those families. Sometimes it runs in family. You can see their hair, their color of the hair, the color of the eyeball, their height. In a particular family, it's determined. Much of it is determined at birth. So yes, many things come by nature. While some of it, if properly facilitated, they fully manifest. But if proper facilities are not given by during nurturing time, then the full ability won't manifest. But some things are already there. You can't change. Some things are already there. You just have to accept. As parents, sometimes we want a genius in our family. We want every children to be like that. While imposing too much, it's violence. Allow children to be what they are. Yes, give all facilities. Encourage. It's a very important principle that must be understood. The role of nature and the role of nurture. Similarly, divine children are also born, provided you take precaution. That is why Garbhadhan Sanskar is so important. The kind of thought a mother has, the parents have, the purification that they undergo, it's like preparation. Preparation to invoke a wonderful soul in our midst. It needs preparation. Preparation of consciousness, physical preparation, the kind of food that it is eaten. If any of you are interested, there is a beautiful book. It is available in our bookstall in our temple, at Radha Gopinath Temple. Or if you can place an order, you will get it. Very beautiful book written by one lady, Dr. Vaidehi. She is written it on conception as craftsmanship. Conception as craftsmanship. Beautiful book. The sperm is generated in 3 months. So you have to prepare 3 months in advance what kind of food you take, what kind of consciousness you keep. You can actually invoke a particular kind of soul into your body so that a particular kind of child can be born. Of course, there are some chance factors also, but still, to a large extent, you can control if many parameters and factors are controlled. This is a study. And as we discussed, I don't know, many of you may have attended what we presented last time. We presented on nurturing, the way of nurturing, the principle of nurturing. In the first 5 years, how to take care of children. From 5 to 15, how to take care of children. And how to deal with them after they reach 16. It's a science. It's a perfect science. So when the child is born, already some of the things is happened already, you can't change. But some things, whatever you can change. Some things you can't change. You just have to accept. So that's what it is. Life can significantly, while undoubtedly we carry impressions from previous lives, our willpower, determination and activities in this life, the kind of practice, yes, practice makes man perfect, can significantly alter the nature. There are some things we can alter. That we should strive. But there are some things we can't, and we should accept it. I went to Alcoholic Anonymous many years ago. They had asked one of our seniors, devotees, to come and speak to all the Alcoholic Anonymous. This is an organization which deals with those who are alcoholic addicts, how to overcome them. And most of the members are those who were alcoholics, addicted, and now they have come out and they're training others. There was a beautiful quote written, and I'll never forget, very beautiful quote. Sorry. It says, God, give me the strength to tolerate the things I can't change. Give me the strength to tolerate the things that I can't change. You can't change the weather. You can't change the atmosphere. You can't change the ozone layer single-handedly alone. You can't change people's nature who are around you. So give me the strength to tolerate the things I can't change. Give me the strength to change the things I can. Whatever I can change myself. I can change my way of looking at things. I can change my perspective. Give me the strength to change the things I can. Give me the strength to tolerate the things I can't. And the most important is the third one. Give me the intelligence to discriminate between the two. If you don't have the intelligence, keep on beating your head against the wall, against trying to change the world, you will die a miserable death and you can't do anything. So what you can change is yourself, your perspective, your views, your behavior, your mindset, your skills, your attitudes. And to some extent, probably you can, if you are able to change the things, change the system in whatever way you can, at least immediate influence, area of influence, whatever you have. Change. If you don't, then you are responsible, you are lazy, you have failed in your duty. Do your best. And whatever you can't change, learn to accept it. Otherwise, you will make your life miserable. Learn to accept it. Things are as they are. Whatever you can't change, accept it. Relish it. So similarly, even here, while we undoubtedly carry impressions from previous lives, our willpower, determination, activities in this life can significantly alter the nature. Significantly alter. So that whatever we can, we should do. Krishna describes 26 divine qualities and the 6 major demoniac qualities. Alright, so we will begin now the discussion. In the first 6 verses, the first 3 verses talk about 26 divine qualities. My sincere request to all of you, after you go home, try to study these 26 qualities and please read the definitions of these qualities. And try, make a chart and find out how many of these qualities you have. If you don't have, this is a good New Year resolution. Don't begin on January 1st. You can begin from tomorrow. काल करे सो आज कर, आज करे सो अब. पल में परलय होएगा तो बहुरी करेगा कब. So we have to do it today itself. Every day is a new day. Every second is a new day. You can take it like that. And it has, if you see, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 pages purport. So important, because describing 26 qualities, Prabhupada has taken great trouble to describe all the qualities. You can do some self-analysis, how divine you are, and how I don't tell the other. All right. So we will try to discuss as much as we can today. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi Dhanam Damascha Yagyascha Swadhyayastapa Arjavam Ahimsa Satyam Tyaga Shantirapaishunam Daya Bhuteshvaloluptvam Mardavam Hrirachapalam Teja Kshamadhriti Shaucham Adroho Natimanita Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim Abhijatasya Bharata. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. So there are 26 qualities. After this, Krishna is not going to speak about the divine qualities. Rest of the chapter is demonic qualities. Elaborate description. That's why this chapter is called Daivasura Sampat Vibhaga Yogo Nama Shodashodhyaya. Daiva Asura Sampat. Sampat means wealth. This is the wealth of the demoniac and the wealth of the divine. Sampati. Sampat. Opulence. Daiva Sampat Vibhaga Yogo. Daivasura Sampat Vibhaga Yogo Nama Shodasodhyaya. So now, very interestingly, Vedic culture was divided into 4 ashrams and 4 varnas. According to not birth, but according to social and spiritual division, progress. So, there was a brahmachari, the grihastha, the vanaprastha and the sannyas. Now, the first three qualities are predominant quality of sannyasis. Everyone should have this. Everyone should try to develop as much as they can. But predominantly, the sannyasis should exhibit the first three qualities. One is abhayam. Abhayam is fearlessness. A sannyasi renounces his family connection. He completely renounces his family connection, and a sannyasi is supposed to travel alone with no money and no security. He doesn't know where his food is. He doesn't know where he will sleep tonight. He's just traveling. Ideally, this is what sannyas life is. What sannyas life used to be. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 500 years ago, was an ideal sannyasi. He just started walking into the forest, Jharikhand forest. And there were tigers, there were lions, there were leopards. He just kept walking. How come a sannyasi is so fearless? With no anxiety for security. Because he believes that there is Lord in the heart and the Lord is in control. It is up to him. If he wants to kill me, I'll be killed. If he wants to protect me, he'll protect me. Srila Prabhupada was such a sannyasi. When he left for the West on the order of his guru to preach, he had just 40 rupees, which is useless, which is like $50. One breakfast in US. That's all. Or to just go from one part of the city to another. Finish. This is the money he had. He had 2 bags of grains, a set of books, and an umbrella. That's all. And he's going to a foreign land. He didn't have money to, stay somewhere in a hotel or something. Absolutely no money. He had no address where he will stay. He was 69-year-old. Didn't know any address where he will go. Today we go by flight. And somebody is there to pick us up. And we have a big ISKCON center. They welcome us with garland. And they already give us Mahaprasad in the car because the temple is 2 hours drive. And they are standing with garland and everything is ready. When Prabhupada went, he didn't know whether to turn left or right. He didn't know where to go. He traveled by a cargo ship. He had 2 heart attacks in that cargo ship. And if there was one more attack, he would have died. And intensely was praying to Krishna. Krishna, on the order of my guru, I have come here. I don't know why you have brought me. Now if you want to kill me, kill me. If you want to protect me, protect me. I am leaving to your hands. That night, he had a dream in which he saw Krishna coming with all the other incarnations and giving him assurance. Don't worry, you have a great mission ahead. We will help you fulfill that. And the next day, the captain, his name was Pandya, Captain Pandya, he said throughout his career of 42 years, he had never seen the sea so calm. Never seen the sea so calm. If any one more little seasickness or something, Prabhupada would have died. But he didn't care. He just left. Fearless. We have so much fear, security. What will happen tomorrow if I don't have money? What will happen if I don't have money? If I don't have a house? Who will take care of me in my old age? It's natural. Artificially we can't imitate, or neither can we try to come to that platform. As a householder, we are supposed to have some security and protect and give, share also, charity, etc. So we cannot artificially imitate, nor are we expected to also. But eventually we should come to that platform. At least within our heart, we should have faith. Mare Krishna rakhe Krishna mare ke. If Krishna wants to protect me, who can hurt me? If Krishna wants to kill me, who can protect me? This is the faith that Prahlad had. Therefore he was fearless in front of the biggest terrorist of universal terrorist, Hiranyakashipu. Imagine. He was a terror for the whole universe. These little terrorists are peanuts in front of Hiranyakashipu. Even demigods were scared just by taking his name. And Prahlad goes and stands in front of him and he says, Father, you're fool number one, wasting your life. Chant Hare Krishna. Can you imagine? What guts he must have? Fearless. Fearless of death. This also comes in a person who is 100% self-realized. I am not the body, I am the soul. And the soul cannot be killed. Nainam chindanti shastrani nainam da. Now we are not on that platform. We intellectually know we are not the body. But we are fully in the body. And we are convinced, whatever it is, very nice philosophy, but there are so many buts. It's a fact. And artificially we cannot imitate, but we should strive someday to reach that platform. But a sannyasi is supposed to have achieved that ideally. Abhayam, fearlessness. That's why even Socrates was fearless. To some extent he was self-realized. Therefore when poison was given, he said, you have to catch me before you kill me. And he drank the poison. They said, you're going to die. So what? The body is going to die. I'm not going to die. He was Brahman realized. Prabhupada says he was Brahman realized. Self-realized. A person who knows I'm not the body, I'm the soul, which is eternal, actually becomes fearless. Or who has faith in full protection of the Lord. Then, sattva samshuddhi. One should strive, a sannyasi is striving for purification of one's existence. Everyone should be doing it. Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhyet. All of us should be purifying our existence. How do we purify our senses? We have our senses, we have a mind, we have intelligence, and we have a big fat false ego. These are the coverings on the body, on the soul. We have to purify our senses, we have to purify our mind, we have to purify our intelligence, we have to purify our big, fat, false ego. And I call it the ABCD. This is the real tapasya. This is real tapasya. This is the essence of spirituality. How do we purify the senses? We purify the senses by engaging in the senses in the service of the Lord. When we have deities at home, when we have picture of the Lord at home, first thing in the morning, we go in front of the Lord and see the Lord through our eyes. The perfection of the eyes is to see the beautiful form of the Lord. The perfection of ears is to hear the glories of the Lord. The perfection of nose is to smell the flower that is offered to the Lord, Nirmalya. The perfection of the tongue is to taste the food that is first offered to the Lord as prasad. Yagya shishta shinas santo muchante sarva kilbishai. We purify our sense of touch by coming in contact with the devotees of the Lord. We purify our hands by cleansing the temple of the Lord. We purify our feet by walking to the abode of the Lord. We purify our head by bowing in front of the Lord. We purify our speech by glorifying the Lord. In this way, Karmendriya and Jnanendriya, all the indriyas are purified. I remember one time, one of our devotees, a very senior person, he must be around 45, he went to Brindavan and stayed in the house of a Brajvasi. In Brajvasi, during the summer days, nobody sleeps in their home because it's very hot. They all sleep in the cot. They put a cot, khatia, and they sleep in front of the house. So he was sleeping on a cot, and actually whole family sleep just outside their house in the courtyard. So there was this little girl, maybe 7-year-old girl. So this devotee got up, he was sleeping, he was as a guest at their house. He got up, and at the same time she also got up, this little girl. And she got up and she looked at him. She closed her eyes and ran inside the house. So he was shocked and he looked at himself. Am I properly dressed? I said, "ठीक है." And he looked himself in the mirror. कुछ तो गड़बड़ी है क्या? नहीं. He forgot about it. Next day, the time he got up, she also got up. Suddenly she looked at him and she ran into the house. Third day it happened. He became restless. He said, कुछ तो उसमें गड़बड़ी है, मेरे में गड़बड़ी है. I want to clarify. He was like bursting with curiosity. Why she does it? And he asked her, "Lali, तू मेरे को देख क्यों बंद कर दिए थी सुबह सुबह?" And then she told him, "Baba, ऐसा नहीं है." She said, she heard a pravachan by some sadhu in that village. And that sadhu had said, as soon as you get up, the first person you should see is the Lord. She would remember that. And suddenly she would close her eyes, run in front of the altar and open her eyes. First, he felt relieved. He said, "Oh, acha aisa." This was the culture. I know one very close relative of mine. She would not eat anything until and unless she would drink Charanamrita, that is first bathed the Lord, and she would take a little Charanamrita. Only then she would put anything in her mouth. This was her resolution. This was her resolve. So, understanding, this is the state of consciousness. And it is very important. When you see the Lord first thing in the morning and the last thing before you go to bed, that's good. If you can't see the Lord, at least we were taught, I remember my mother had taught me, Karagre vasade Lakshmi, Karamadhye Saraswati, Karamule tu Govindam, Prabhate Karadarshanam. At least you're remembering. And this is where Saraswati, Lakshmi and Govinda sits and you wash and And this is supposed to be Ayurveda also. You rub it and this is supposed to be very energizing. See, all these which are truly beneficial, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, physically, had become so much a part of our lifestyle. But once God went out of the picture, everything went along with it. The whole culture went away. That's the greatest danger. That's the underlying principle. Anything connected with true spirituality. These are all a part of life. Every festival, you're supposed to eat something. Particular festival, Shattila Ekadashi, you have to eat til at that day. And til gud kha, god bola, on particular festival. Another festival, you have to eat only neem ka patta. Gudi Padwa, right? If you talk to our Nirmal Chandra Prabhu, Ayurvedic surgeon, Ayurvedic doctor, he will tell you scientific reason why in a particular time you're supposed to take oil bath, you're supposed to eat this particular food. This particular time, rainy season, you're not to eat too many kind of mixed kind of food. One particular type of dal, one particular sabji, one. Simple, because very, very cloudy, and therefore your digestive power is not very strong. There's a principle behind everything. So their Chaturmas they would observe, and they would eat only, some time a day or simple food a day. It had become a part of their life. This was their culture. Anyway, coming back to, so in the senses are purified when they are engaged in the service of the Lord. When we go in front of the form of the Lord, beautiful form of the Lord, first thing in the morning or immediately after bathing, you go and stand in front, open your eyes brightly and look at the beautiful form of the Lord. It's very interesting, in all Vedic temples, old temples, right in front of the Lord you have a tortoise on the ground. If you have seen, a small stone tortoise which is fixed to the ground. And I was wondering, why only tortoise is there? Kurmongani va sarvasha. This is the place where you need to open your eyes and open your ears, open all your senses in front of the Lord. See the Lord, hear the beautiful glorification of the Lord, smell the beautiful flowers and tulsi that is offered to the Lord, taste the wonderful prasad that is offered to the Lord. And once you go out, withdraw your senses. Jitna jaruri utna kaam karo, andar khich lo. A tortoise has an amazing thing. Its head and its limbs, it can withdraw and bring out whenever it wants. This is a Goswami. A Goswami means whose senses are under his control. He will use it when he wants it, and he will withdraw when he doesn't want. That's why Gandhiji had 3 monkeys on his altar or on his shelf. I'll not see bad, I'll not hear bad, I'll not speak bad. So the eyes are like camera. So many impressions are falling on it throughout the day. I remember one time with 50 children, I had 52 children in our ashram. I took them for a picnic. And they all went on a picnic, and we had this, at that time we had this camera with a reel. You know what do you call that? Roll, yeah. There are 36 rolls, 36 short snaps. So we purchased that thing and we put it, and whole picnic, 52 of us, somebody journeying, taking bath and standing, all different poses, everyone was clicking. And there was only one photograph left. And that fellow who was taking the photograph, he was a 10th standard student. He said, Prabhuji, mera photo hi nahi aaya. Maine sabka khicha. Bola, very good. Chalo, tu aaja. And that's the last photograph. Everyone stood. So one little boy volunteered. Prabhuji, main khichu kya photo? I said, okay, theek hai. So he went and he clicked. And we all went for taking bath. And when we came back, what this fellow did, he opened the reel, he put it against the sun, and he was watching. मैं देख रहा हूं मैंने ठीक से फोटो खींचा क्या? And the elder boy said, प्रभु जी पानी डाल दिया सबके ऊपर इसलिए. बोला how difficult, मैं सर्कस करके इतना फोटो खींचा था. अच्छा. Similarly, throughout the day we are clicking pictures. Everything we see, any advertisement, half naked lady pictures, even for a advertisement for a clock. अभी इसका उसका क्या संबंध है? Advertisement industry is to attract your attention first. If a plug is there or a video is there, nobody watch. You have to catch their attention, and therefore whatever attracts them, that's what they have to put. And this is what you see throughout the day. And every second you see something, click, so many things. But at the end of the day, when you go in front of the Lord and open your eyes, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andhakar. Jahan Krishna Taha Nahi Maya. Krishna is like the sun. So when you go, and at the end of the day, You just go in front of the Lord and, Sandhya Arati we do. Mangalarti and then Sandhya Arati. The whole idea is this: after coming back from work, we do a nice, light a lamp and see the beautiful form of the Lord, glorify the Lord. So when the sun shines, whole day's negative impressions, whatever they are, gets washed out. And one thing in the morning, first thing in the morning, put some positive impressions. Go back. It's like that. So, senses, sattva samshuddhi. Our senses become purified by inviting the Lord into our home in a very simple way. You may have a picture, that's enough. But He is non-different from the Lord. See the Lord, share the glories of the Lord, serve the Lord in whatever little way. Whatever is cooked, first offer to the Lord and eat that remnants as the grace of the Lord. It not only fills the belly, but cleanses your existence, purifies your senses. Next, so that is D, diet of Krishna Prasad and deity worship. For cleansing the senses, D. Now, above the senses is the mind, and above D is C. And C means chanting. Chanting the holy name of the Lord. Now the mind has two diseases. First disease of the mind is, it doesn't stay where it has to. And the second disease is, it goes where it shouldn't. It is restless. It is very agitating. It is flickering. It's extremely powerful and very stubborn. It doesn't listen. You have to discipline the mind. And that is mantra. Manaha trayate. What is mantra? When we are chanting the holy name, we are yato yato nischalati manaschanchalamasthiram tatastato niyamyaitad atmanyeva vasham nayet. Chanting is like you do push-ups. The more exercise, physical exercise you do, you develop stamina and you develop resistance to any disease. Similarly, chanting is a mental exercise. Wherever the mind travels, you pick it, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, and focus it at the lotus feet of the Lord. And the day when you get trained up, if you regularly do it on a regular basis, wherever your mind consciously goes, Hare Krishna, immediately you can bring it back and focus it where you want to. And that way you will be protected from Maya. You don't have to, like that monkey on Gandhi's altar, close your eyes. No. You like a tortoise. When you want, you will use your eyes. Other time you just close your eyes and Hare Krishna. Once Hare Krishna you chant, and instantly your mind is under your control. Hey, that's not the place. Focus on the beautiful form of the Lord. That is why chanting is so important. Manayeva manushyanam karana. Mind is the source of liberation and mind is the source of bondage. Mind is extremely powerful. But, therefore we cannot control. But Krishna, who is non-different from his name, can control the mind. Manmohan. That is why Krishna's name is Manmohan. He captures our mind. He is so beautiful. He is so attractive. So the mind is controlled, purified by chanting the holy name. Now above the mind is the intelligence and above C is B. Books of transcendental knowledge. Shastra. Now, what is the disease of the intelligence? There are two diseases. Lack of discrimination and lack of determination. Intelligence has two functions, discrimination and determination. When we study scriptures, our intelligence is fine-tuned. Asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amrutangamaya. Instantly you can say, is this good or is it bad? Is it beneficial or is it disadvantageous? Is it favorable? Is it unfavorable? Is it temporary or is it permanent? Is it illusory or is it reality? Is it leading me towards death or is it leading me towards eternal life? Every moment you have to be Viveka Buddhi. So intelligence becomes strong. Intelligence becomes fine-tuned. Intelligence becomes extremely refined when we scrutinizingly study scriptures. So discrimination power increases. Nobody can fool. Maya cannot fool you. You can see through it because you have Shastra Chakshu. You have X-ray eyes. You can see through and through. No, this is not beneficial. This is not good for me. This is good for me. This is actually beneficial. This is not. This is favorable. This is unfavorable. And determination. Mind is restless. And the intelligence is controller of the mind. Even though the mind says, no, I don't want to do it. It's like a child. And intelligence, strong intelligence, like is a loving but strict parent. No. No means no. Come on, get up. No, ask thoda late. Nothing doing, get up. The mind may give several excuses, but the intelligence says, nothing doing. You have resolved to do it. Through your own discrimination, you have come to a decision that from now onwards I will do this. The mind says, no, I don't feel like today. To hell with what you feel. Come on. Exams are coming, you have to study. Just like a loving but a strict parent tells you, nothing doing. It's not a question of liking or not. You will repent later. Just do it now. So that determination comes by scrutinizing study of scriptures. By studying scriptures, doubt goes away. We have a lot of doubts, which is like a brake in the vehicle. Doubt is like the brake and faith is like accelerator. As long as there is doubt, सचमुच में भगवान है क्या, आत्मा है क्या, ये भक्ति प्रोसेस काम करता है क्या, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र में दम है क्या, इतने साल से कर रहा कुछ हो क्यों नहीं रहा. So many doubts. So doubt is like a demon. But when we read scriptures, then it is broken to pieces. Sthitosmi gata sandeha bhidyate hridaya granthi chidyante sarva samshaya. All the doubts go away. Now you are convinced. That's what the scriptures say. Scriptures can never be wrong. The scriptures are saying it. Even though I don't see the soul, I know if there is a body, there has to be a soul. Because without the soul, the body cannot be activated. Even though my eyes cannot see, but I can know through my intelligence that there is a soul. A plant has a soul. Animal has a soul. Because the scriptures say that. And I am seeing it logically, scientifically. And then, how does determination come? When the intelligence is strong, it can control the mind. And in the scriptures, we study about the lives of great devotees who showed tremendous determination. Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, all the great Mahajans, even Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That is why we observe the appearance and disappearance days of the great Acharyas. On those days, not simply fasting till 12 o'clock and just, kind of reading it in the morning. Actually, we should study their lives. Some part, some time at least, something about their lives. To know how, even in their lives, they had temptations. They had so many distractions. So many things to distract them. They had so many obstacles. They had so much opposition. But none of them would weaken their determination. That's why they are worshipable. That is why they were able to achieve success. So this is books of transcendental knowledge, scriptures. And above B is A. And above the intelligence is the false ego. Now the false ego has two diseases. Again, the first disease is to think that I am the center of whole existence. I, me and mine. And number two, to take credit for not only what we have done, but what we have not done also. You know, your friend, he became successful. उसको सजेशन तो मैंने ही दिया था. उसको मेन चीज सीक्रेट तो मैंने ही बताया था उसको, सीक्रेट ऑफ सक्सेस. We want to take credit of everything under the sun. Because that is the food for the soul. I mean, food for the ego. Ego wants to be fed sumptuously. When you think I, me and mine, I am the center of the whole universe. I, me and mine. This is food for the soul. I mean, for the ego. And taking credit. I am the doer. Without me, even the sun cannot rise in the morning. And therefore, how do we overcome this ego? In the association of sincere devotees. Because in the association of devotees, there are some things we learn to do. First of all, we learn to call each other as Prabhu and ourselves as Das. This is not the Bengali Das. You know, Das is also, and Prabhu, by the way, is also a title. In Mangalore especially. Mr. Prabhu, Prabhu. No, this is not that. Prabhu means master and Das means the servant. So we learn to address everyone else as Prabhu and ourselves as Das. Outside world, if you do like that, they will really treat you like Das. And they will become Prabhu and trample all over you, bulldoze you. So you have to, in the mood of Das, call yourself Prabhu. But in the mood of Das, you have to behave, you have to do the needful. But at the same, but attitude should be, one CEO of one company, he gave his realization. He said, Prabhuji, मैं ये फॉर्मूला शुरू में जब अप्लाई किया ना, मेरे ड्राइवर, मेरे क्लीनर, वो मेरे घर, वो क्लास 4 वाले, they started taking undue advantage of me. बोले हरे कृष्णा जाके थोड़ा इसको कभी कभी आराम से घुमा सकते हैं. एंड ही सेड, प्रभु जी जितना मैं उनको ग्लोरीफाई, प्रभु अगर आप करोगे तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा, ये सेवा आप लोग कर दीजिए. They were just taking me for a ride. Now Prabhuji, in the same mood, to my driver, before I begin a sentence, I speak one Sanskrit word. And then I tell a sentence. And I end with a pure Sanskrit word. Now he has become completely humble and nice. Because this is the only language he understands. He said, but at the same time, now I know I am not the body. I am supposed to be humble servant. But इसको यही भाषा समझ में आता है. और इसीलिए वो भाषा बोलता हूँ, humbly बोलता हूँ. He does that. But at least in the Vaishnava circle, where the consciousness is, they are all masters, and I'm not the servant. I'm Das, Dasanu Das. I'm the servant of the servant. And very interesting, in a devotee circle, when somebody does something wonderful, the way devotees appreciate them are, wow, I think by today Krishna has been very merciful. You spoke so nicely. Indirectly they tell you, you are not responsible. Krishna empowered you today. थोड़ा ज़्यादा प्रार्थना करके आए थे लगता है. Wow, by Krishna's grace, you sang so well. By Krishna's mercy, you did the thing successful. This program was so successful. So devotees, unconsciously or consciously, keep reminding us that if we have failed, don't worry, I think Krishna has some other plan for you. Don't worry. So when you fail, you don't go into depression, and when you succeed, it doesn't go to your head. If you are in the association of devotees. Devotee doesn't simply mean Tilak Kantimala. Devotee means those who are divine, who believe in the existence of the Lord, who believe they are their servants, who believe that we are actually servant of the servant. And we serve in a way that is necessary, the best that we can do in a given circumstance. So, that is Sattva Samshuddhi. So, A, B, C, D. By regularly associating with sincere devotees, that is why we have these weekly programs. The purpose of the weekly program is this. Why not monthly? Why not daily? Actually, daily is good, but the attendance will fully drop, including me. But at least weekly dose is necessary. Sometimes I get concerned when 1 week one person doesn't come. When I notice, I feel really bad. It's very important. That's the purpose of these programs that we have. It's our weekly nourishment. If you can take more and more, well and good. But at least once a week. And not just hearing a video or a cassette. That's good. Something is better than nothing. But ideally, physically sitting there in the association, coming together. So associating with devotees purifies our false ego. Regularly studying the scriptures purifies our intelligence, increases our discrimination and determination. In the association of devotees, instead of self-centered, we become Krishna-centered. Instead of taking credit, we give credit to Krishna for anything we did or couldn't do. Of course, we couldn't do, we take blame on ourselves. But when we get something great, we give the credit to Krishna. And A, B, C. C is chanting. By chanting regularly, our mind becomes very focused. Our mind becomes very strong. Develops the power to withdraw from unwanted things and focus on the required things. Mind becomes very strong. And such a person, byproduct of a strong mind, is your personality improves. You gain confidence. Even in your other activities, you can see its benefit. Forget about spiritual, but every activities. A person with a clear intelligence, a powerful, strong mind, and pure senses. By D, D is deity worship and diet of Krishna Prasad. So this is Sattva Samshuddhi. Then Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti. For a sannyasi, Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti means always aspiring to scrutinizingly not only study but imbibe, practice and preach the message of the scriptures and develop deeper and deeper realization of scriptures, especially for a sannyasi, but all of us, according to our ability and according to our nature, try. I make it a point, and this is a good practice. I've seen many householders also doing it, do it very effectively. They always carry a small book with them. Some Prabhupada's books, they always carry with them. Whenever they get time, they're just sitting in the train, or they're waiting for a bus, something, rather than hearing to all these kind of gossips going on all around, rather than just wasting time here and there. I see so many people in the train, local train, especially after these mobiles have come. It has so much negative influence. Watching a movie or just, surfing through and just doing so much of precious human time and mental energy. It is so exhausting. It's not at all helpful in any way. It is sucking away that energy. If during that time, if they can either chant, even if it is not attentive, but you just chant, what's wrong? You just close your eyes, take up your beads, chant, or read some nice scriptures. So much wisdom is contained in just one of those sentences. One devotee said, Prabhupada's books are full of jewels. Read one page, and if you can find one sentence, you say, wow, what a sentence, what an amazing realization. You have gathered one jewel. Can you imagine if you get one jewel a day, how rich you will become very soon? And Bhagavatam and all these books of Srila Prabhupada are nothing but Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadhya. Ratna Adhya. Adhya means mine. They are like mines of diamond, precious stones and jewels. So pick up. You may strike one or two a day, no problem. Read one or two pages. If nothing happens, don't worry. Keep digging. Someday you will get a jewel. If you get one in a week also, go to Zaveri's. क्या AZ TBZ क्या वो फुल फॉर्म त्रिभुवन दास भीमसेन झवेरी. अरे TBZ में एक हफ्ता में एक जूवल मिला फ्री में, वो भी कौन नहीं जाएगा? उसका बाप है इधर. Krishna has spoken these jewels. Since time immemorial, people are taking advantage of this. So much of wisdom is contained. Shoreless and bottomless ocean of wisdom contained in even one of these verses, one of the sentences in the purport. Even while dozing, if you read, something clicks you. अरे यार ये अच्छा है. Good enough. Good enough, it's worth it. So Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti. But we have crossed time. We will stop here. At this rate, I don't know, 26 days it will take to finish the 26 verses. But at the end of these 26 days, if you develop all these qualities, I think it's worth it. Even if it takes 26 years. No, I won't take, don't worry. But it's worth it. It's a lifetime achievement. Even if you're one notch up at the end of the year, it's worth it. It's actually worth it. So much of wisdom contained, ready-made, concentrated. They say rasna concentrate. Pani milao piyo bas. Like that. So much of wisdom concentrate. One day you take a little dose and keep putting water. That means ruminate over it. Think over these things every time. It's good. All right, Hare Krishna. So now we will have practical application. Enough of B. We will have now C.